Welcome back to the Oshner Andrew Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio for another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. Just got back from California. Got a lot to talk about there. Preseason game coming up this weekend. We're going to recap all of that and more on today's show. But before you start today's show, two little pieces of business. If you are looking to open a bank account, get a mortgage, whatever, make sure you are going to Keesler Federal. They are the official credit union sponsor of the New Orleans Saints. You want to celebrate your fandom away from the field? That's a great way to do it. They'll get you the debit card with the logos on it, all that stuff. And the best part is they're a not-for-profit organization, meaning their members always come first. So they're going to take care of you. They're going to have your best interests at heart and not just be trying to make a buck off you. And another guy that's got your best interests at heart, Matt Bowers, man. He's going to sell you the best cars at the best prices. If you're looking for a new car, make sure you check out Matt at one of his many locations. He will get you the best deal that you can get. And after you buy that car, call Chabert Insurance. They're the sponsor of our first topic today. That's the Earhart Agency. Call them up, talk to them. They'll get you right. California practices. We got a lot of information out here, a lot of work done. That's done. We are into this stanza of training camp now. Kind of, what's your big takeaway right now? Like, what's your big global California take at this point? They streamed the practice yesterday. Everybody got to see that. Just kind of what's your number one takeaway?
I mean, we're going to talk a lot about quarterbacks as this show continues. I would say my number one takeaway is since they left for California till now, the quarterback battle got a lot closer. It became a tie, and we'll talk about that more. I guess the other thing is since we got to see them have joint practice with the Rams, I think if you want to have a positive takeaway, it's that, all the good defensive things we were seeing in the first 2 week of camps translated when they went against another opponent. So there's still some encouraging things on defense. Again, they were going against Jimmy Garoppolo, and it was a controlled scrimmage setting, so you can't take too much away from that. But I think
it's a Super Bowl QB, man. He's been to the big game. He's been to the big game.
But there's some individual pockets, like Chase Young and Devon Godshaw and Julian Blackmon to an extent. He keeps getting an interception every day. So I guess those are the top two that stand out for me. But yeah, number one, of course, is that the quarterback battle became a quarterback battle in California.
I have no idea what to expect of this team, like going into the season right now. Like there's days I feel okay about them and days I feel terrible about them. And I think that's just probably what it's going to be all season long. Young team potential, all that stuff. I mean, I feel like my biggest takeaway right now is that like some of those good vibes kind of got stepped on a little bit once the injury started coming. And it was a reminder.
I should have brought that up as number one. I do feel worse about the team than I do a week ago, not because of their performance on the California practice fields, but real injuries now.
Yeah, like they get a couple of injuries and very quickly you're reminded of just kind of how thin the team is overall. And depth has always been an issue. And when nobody's getting hurt and there's not important injuries, you can just kind of live in this world where it's like, oh, well, like if things work out, and that becomes more realistic as the days stack up and you're on day 14, 15, whatever, and there aren't real injuries, but the real injuries hit. And Trevor Penning, very good, at least a realistic, I don't want to say a very good chance, but a realistic possibility that he's not ready for the start of the season. He's going to miss a bunch of weeks here. That's not a good thing. Alontae Taylor has a groin injury. Those can be tricky. Hopefully he's ready for week one. But those two injuries right there just put the spotlight right on it. And then now if you had an injury at wide receiver, it's like, oh my God. And if you had an injury at defensive end, it's an oh my God. Basically anywhere someone goes down. I think safety is the only spot where if they had an injury, I'd be like, oh, they probably got some guys there that can step in. But overall, like that injury bug is terrifying just seeing it. And that might be some PTSD residual stuff from last season bringing into it. All these injuries took them down, but it's a very real thing. And hopefully it doesn't become this like widespread 8 starters down thing. I don't think it'll ever be that bad again, but they are like 2 injuries away from being a very, very like hindered team. And it's a team that needs all the pieces around the quarterback to help elevate the quarterback, I think. So that was a big one for me. Outside of that, I just feel like it's kind of trending the same. Like I don't feel like there's been major changes since preseason game 1. I feel like we kind of just see what it's kind of where it's at. And then there's going to be another benchmark on preseason game 2. This could be the end of like the open practice thing coming out of this game. I don't know if we're going to see more or not on the other side of this Jacksonville game. a lot of times this is where teams close camp. We don't know the protocol. Dennis Allen would keep it open the whole time. Sean Payton wouldn't. So we'll see where it kind of falls in between. If it is, like, do you have a big camp thought? Like, is there anything that comes to mind?
No, I mean, look, unfortunately, I think you nailed it, which is I think we started to feel good about the starting 22 on this team, and you can tell yourself, that's not that bad. That's not that bad, and it's depth across the board. So when you see the injuries, you realize how fragile they are. But then also in that first preseason game, we saw just how fragile the backup offensive line is, and that was the position group we had kind of felt the best about. And as soon as it got down to backups on the offensive line, and now Will Clapp is completely out of that equation for the rest of the season, I feel like the safety net has been removed from this team. It is. They will be okay as long as they have their starters on the field, and they will not be okay if they don't. So I think that is the number one thing that has been driven home over the last week. And that's why I think I made this point on a previous show that, like, injuries are a real thing. Injuries take wins away from people, and you have your ceiling and you have your floor. And I genuinely think so many people are comparing this year's team to last year's 5-win team. I think the Saints hit their floor last year because of injuries. I think they were like a 9-win team that fell to 5 because of the injuries. But I think this team is starting as like a 6-win team, and the injuries will make them fall from there. And that's scary to think of if they run into anywhere near the level of injuries as last year.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, like, the comp from last year to this year is impossible because, like, you're talking about having the court, like, a Derek Carr and not having Derek Carr, and the quarterback thing was different. And if Derek Carr got hurt in camp last year and they went through the season with their backup quarterbacks and every single player was healthy, I'm not necessarily sure that your win total changes at all, and it might actually have went down. So, like, I think you have to compare it through that position before you even get to everything else. I don't think it's like if they're healthy, they're an 8-win team last year, minus the quarterback. You got your wins, but, like, you're taking away all those wins, and now you give every piece back. Does the quarterback lead to a different result? I think 5 is the ceiling for last year's team at that point. Yeah. My big take, I just feel like this was the most. And again, there might be more practices here, but we can talk about it right now. I think this is probably the most different training camp I've ever seen in my life. And I some of it could be good, some of it could not. I don't know, but I'm interested to see what kind of results it harvests into the season. Like, my whole entire career covering the NFL, it was Belichick, it was Peyton, and it's Dennis Allen, which means it's all Bill Parcells, and it's like very, I'm sure they've modernized things, but the ideals are rooted in, the 1980s and how to do things. And we just heard Sean Payton say earlier this offseason that, like, there are no sugar days. Like, I think there were definitely some sugar days here, but, like, it's a 2020 thinking team at this point with, like, ideals rooted in this century. And it looks and feels very, very different. There's optimizations happening. On the other side with the Parcells thinking, I don't think that there was ever a minute left on the clock. As soon as the CBA said they could practice for this long, they were practicing for this long. And there was never time coming off the clock. There was only time going on. I don't know how many times they maxed out their field time. They haven't practiced every single day that they could. Even after a game, like, they would practice because they were allowed to practice the day after game. And granted, it'd be like a shorts and helmet day, but they were practicing. Like, this team does not practice the day after a game. And that's probably good in some regards, but it's a very different mindset to the team. And it's very striking. It's a culture shock almost. Like, when you are so used to it being one way and then it's the other. I'm interested to just see how it plays out through a whole entire season, like, academically. And I don't really have an opinion on it at this point. I think change was absolutely needed. I'm eager to see what they look like in week 1 and what the procedure is getting ready for it. I mean, I've reached out to guys with, like, the Eagles and the Rams and, some of these younger looking teams, and a lot of the stuff they do is rooted in the same ideals that Kellen Moore has. So, like, it's just probably a new era of football. Yeah. But as an observer of it, it's like, holy crap, like, this is so, like, it can't be overstated how different it is. It almost feels like they just go out there and there's, like, a little bit of work and it's just, like, all team. Whereas before it was like a lot of like individual stuff, a lot of special teams, a lot of time spent on like different things where now it just is like we're gonna work on these couple of little things and then it's just we're gonna call as many plays possible and get off the field kind of as fast as possible. And it's different. It's just shockingly different. Like it is very much it is very much like, going to a different country and trying to order off the menu and the waiter doesn't speak English at times. Like, it's just like very like, holy crap. Like I got it. Like this is way, way different than it was before. Moving on to the next topic presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Some buy or sells on some of the stuff that we've seen, how it's going. You buying Chase Young yesterday, a bunch of sacks, broke up some passes. Are you buying that Chase Young's about to be an all-pro or not?
Well, no, I'm not buying that he's about to be an all-pro. Obviously, anyone who watches the show or reads what we write, like I'm the if you're going to buy Chase Young stock, I'm the broker that you go to because I've assembled all the Chase Young stock. But again, most of my belief in Chase Young has been seeing him on training camp practice fields and just thinking he looks like a different player than anyone I've ever seen play that position for the Saints. So how could he not succeed? And then he's spent 5-6 years of his career not living up to his potential and never having more than 7.5 sacks in a season. So I can't buy it until I see it on the field. I can't buy it until he has 4 sacks in September. But it's incredibly encouraging for sure.
Cam Jordan made a comment about him the other day. He said something about you can't call yourself a pass rusher until you hit double digits. Is he hitting double digits this year?
I'll say yes. I think 10 is attainable. I think 2 of the factors, though, that go into getting a lot of sacks are playing with leads is a big one, and stopping the run is a big one. I think maybe they'll be able to stop the run better than they have in the past. I don't think they'll be playing with a lot of leads. So maybe he hits 10 exactly.
It'd be a huge win for them if they did. I think it changes probably the look of the team as a whole and probably how you feel about it and maybe some of their needs. It would take a huge burden off of that position overall. Yesterday they had some trouble running the ball, opening holes, some different things. Offense got flagged 6 times for penalties when they were on the field. The execution was a little bit rough. Big thing this year is kind of trying to be a team that runs the ball well. And I'm not trying to sell it like there weren't any standout moments running the ball, but they had trouble running the ball week 1 preseason, joint practices against the Rams. Are you buying the idea that they might have some issues running the ball this year?
I don't think we have enough evidence to know, but I wish the first few glimpses that we saw of them actually trying to run the ball against another team live in a preseason game and then in a scrimmage against another team was more successful. That's the offensive line is supposed to be a strength. The run game is supposed to be what they can depend on and lean on and keep their quarterbacks out of trouble. If it's going to be 2nd and 9 for these quarterbacks all the time, it's going to be a long, long year.
I think that, the guard play hasn't been great. So it's definitely on the watch list. And that, well, I mean, Trevor Penning's gone and the other guard position hasn't played great. And a lot of their issues with running the ball in week 1 were due to the other guard. So that's something that we definitely got to keep an eye on. I think they'll probably figure it out. And when you're scheming a little bit more, I think it tightens up a little bit. But I think it's at least something that you're looking at and just like, hey, this needs to come together kind of quick. The amount of penalties yesterday was a staggering thing to me. I thought we saw some of those, out of syncness stuff in the first preseason game too. There was like a RPO they called where like Tyler Shuck's looking for the handoff, like the handoff's not there. Like there are a couple things that were just like, man, this like I just think a couple things overall need to tighten up a little bit by week 1. We'll see how it kind of progresses. The other thing that was, and this might not be even a fair comparison. This is the hardest test they're ever going to see in their whole entire season, probably, and they're going to see it again later on this year. But Verse and Byron Murphy just kind of dominated the tackles yesterday. Is that anything that you're concerned about at all?
I mean, look, they're not going to face many guys who are as good as the Rams front, but yeah, of course it's disturbing. I mean, I think it's the worst possible news you can have. I've said this a few times. Like, it'd be cool if Tyler Shuck is a thing. It's mandatory that Kelvin Banks and Tali Fuaga are a thing. If those guys struggle and those guys aren't going to be like damn near Pro Bowl caliber for a decade, I mean, They have to be great. Now, it's a lot to ask for Kelvin Banks to be handling those guys right away in his first week of playing other teams in his NFL career. But no, those are guys that I want to feel good about, not one of the worry spots coming out of joint practices and preseason games.
Yeah, and I'm an idiot. I said Byron Murphy. Byron Young is I had the Minnesota guys.
There's like two Byron Murphys too, right? So.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. I just little brain fart there, but yeah, Byron Young. Man, they look good, both of them, and they got their jerseys rolled up. It's like, man, which one is which? Versus obviously a whole different beast, but Young looked amazing yesterday, and yeah, they had the tackles on their backs a little bit. Obviously high caliber guys, but you got 2 high caliber first round picks. It's just something that I'm not worried about it, but would have liked to see it go different. And it got to a point where I think it got hard for the offense to operate, and they started running some stunts at him and started getting a little bit exotic, like throwing some different stuff at him. And I just think overall, the operation just got to tighten up just a little bit. But I think good experience to have, a good thing for Banks to go through, a good thing for Fuaga to go through, a good thing for the coaching staff to go through. It gives you a chance to clean something up now before later. I don't know that we've really seen any cracks in that armor to this point, and that was one. And I think it's just an opportunity to clean everything up. I'm buying on this one. Julian Blackmon playing well. I'm buying on the idea of their safety group being better than it was last year. Reed and Blackmon, I think, is a better combo than Tyron, Matthew, and Blank. Whoever was playing next to him last year. I think it's a better group, and it's. If your goal is to try to win more games, I think it's encouraging to see him playing like that.
Yeah, it's undeniable. I mean, 3 interceptions 3 days in a row. He was looking good even before he started that streak. I mean, look, you got to temper your expectations for Julian Blackmon. The Colts decided to move on from him. They're a team that needs talented players. The league wasn't jumping all over itself to sign him. But I think what I like as much as the player and the talent, what we've seen on the field, is that Brandon Staley and him are very close, and he clearly had a vision for how he would fit his defense. So there's obviously a vision and a plan there for him. Essential pickup, it feels like.
All right, let's hit a quick break, and we'll be right back. The Ochsner Orthopedics Walk-In Clinic is now open. Located at 1201 South Clearview Parkway, across from the Elmwood Shopping Center, this clinic provides convenient same-day care for a variety of orthopedic and sports injuries. No referral or appointment needed. Whether you need care for strains, sprains, fractures, sports injuries, or muscular pain, the team of orthopedic specialists offers care for patients 5 and older. Open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number 1 grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
For fans of saving money. For fans of big rewards. For fans of getting more for your money. There's Keesler Federal, the official credit union of the New Orleans Saints. Saints fans, open your free high-earning checking and see what it's like to get better rates, better returns, and better service. Join a winning team. Keesler Federal, the official credit union of the New Orleans Saints. Membership and credit eligibility required. Federally insured by NCUA.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. I don't play favorites with our sponsors on the show, but one of my favorites for sure is RV Masters. You guys have been watching our show lately and you've seen our awesome new van. That thing is decked out. And the best part about it is I took it up to RB Masters and I was like, this is what I want to do, but I had no idea how I wanted to do it or how to get it done. And they took care of it from start to finish, brought me out for updates, were giving me new ideas, and they made it exceed my wildest dreams. And they will do the same thing for you. RB Masters offers full service RV, motorhome, and travel trailer repair. They have preventative maintenance and service packages for your RVs, your AC, your generators. They specialize in solar and lithium upgrades, satellite TV, and Starlink. They'll take care of you if you get into a collision. Whatever you need, they got you. And I can speak from experience because they definitely had us on our new van. I cannot vouch for anyone more than I vouch for RV Masters. RV-Masters.com. Go check them out.
These gems don't just listen, they pay. Play Lucky Gems from the lottery. Win up to $4,000. Keep it rolling straight to your wallet with Money Rolls. Win up to $15,000. Soak up wins with Sunny Days Bingo. Top prize is a whopping $50,000. Fun tickets, cool prizes. Play all 3 exciting games from the lottery.
Looking for the best insurance coverage at the lowest price? Look no further than Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency. They are a local independent insurance agency right here in New Orleans, specializing in home, flood, and auto insurance. At Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, their dedicated team will shop every available carrier in the market, ensuring you get the most comprehensive coverage at the lowest possible price. Why settle for less when you can have the best? Trust Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, to protect what matters most to you. I do. I've been a client of theirs since 2021. Call them today at 504-326-6526 or visit them online at Protected by Chabert. That's 504-326-6526. Chabert Insurance, the Earhart Agency, your local insurance experts. Hardhide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hardhide Chilton County Peach Whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin Family Farms. And Hardhide Strawberry Whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86-proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. Our next topic is presented by Aaron Rose. Quarterback decision coming on Sunday. First game was Rattler. Rattler kind of started yesterday, but Shuck finished. Got some opportunities that Rattler didn't to lead a 120 hurry-up drill down the field. Saints offense actually went out for like a second set, and like the practice was just ending. So I think they thought Rattler would get a chance to do it, but he didn't. Who are you starting on Sunday?
Well, I want to start Shuck on Sunday for as much information as I can gather. I mean, I think I said this the other day. I'm not already declaring Shuck the leader. I'm not starting Shuck because I think he's moved ahead of Rattler, even though a case could be made after the last week. But, I mean, he absolutely deserves his. All right, we saw Rattler. Now we need to see Shuck to gather all the information. I mean, I think this battle has become 50-50 tied, and it's not a battle if you don't give Shuck a turn. Yeah,
I think you got to find out. I don't know. It's weird, man. Like I want to say he's earned it. I think you just have to, for the educational purposes, find out what he can do.
Sunday, he's earned Sunday, or he's earned it.
Sunday. No, yeah. I'm not ready to go to it. It starts trending, then it trends back, and then it starts trending, it trends back. Like this is I guess, the word competitive signifies different things to different people, but like within the context of this is a competitive battle. I don't know, I saw people jumping out on the word competitive on social, and it's just like, well, no, like we're not talking about like competitive with like Tom Brady, but like between the two of them, like it's competitive, it's back and forth. I think it's hard to pick a winner. If they were saying like this is a guy that won it for week 1 right now, I don't think I could really argue against either one off the merits of what we've seen. I could argue on a philosophical sense of what I think is right or what I think is wrong, but on the merits of like if Kellen Moore just came out and said like this guy had a better camp, I'd be like, all right, like I really do feel like it's very close. Like I think this game's important. It's an opportunity for somebody to separate. I don't feel like anybody separated yesterday. If you asked me to pick, and I think it's unfortunate that the camera left and went to the defense for the first time, because it left. And then I think Rattler had the best moment of the whole entire day. Pressure coming in on him, throws the ball over the top of a safety and a cornerback, hits Rashid Streakin, and he scores a touchdown. And it was probably one of the best plays that Rattler's made probably the whole entire camp. I thought there were moments that Shuck had within that practice that looked pretty good. Red zone was bad, I think, for both outside of an open pass to Cedric Wilson. So, yeah, I want to see Shuck start it, and then I want to be able to compare his performance against a higher level of whatever defense the Jags are putting out there and be able to compare it against what Rattler did. I think you have to do it just for educational purposes. If you haven't already made the decision that, like, this is a week 1 starter, so let's get another look at Rattler with him. But if it's still open, I think you have to go to Shuck, and it should still be open.
Do you think, and is this when you have this quarterback battle going on, like how are you going to use, what if Eric McCoy and Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara play in one preseason game? Is it this one? Do you have to bring them out for this one and week 3 for whoever you've declared your starter? Does week 3 become the back off all the starters and just throw the quarterback? Like, how much do these guys need to go out there with the starters? Do you play the starters more because of this quarterback battle?
If he gets all the starters, Shuck, does that signify anything? Is there a lean?
I don't know. I really don't know. Like, this feels like the game with the starters that they would normally play. Although I asked Kellen Moore his philosophy on that, and he said some teams treat week 3 like they used to always treat week 3. Week 3 is the starters game. Some teams switched and started making week 2 the starters game. Some teams do both. I really don't know. I don't know how I would handle it, so I certainly can't guess how they're going to handle it.
They have to play at some point.
Yeah.
If he gets them, if he gets them, it just kind of goes back to the deck is stacked, right? Like, if he gets them, he gets the 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he wins the battle. I just think it means he gets the most advantageous
Sure.
circumstances to make his case. And is that a faulty point of view?
I mean, yes and no. Those are the most advantageous, like if you want the first pick and the second pick. But then Rattler has had all these extra advantages. He's gotten the ones in all 3 scrimmage sessions we've seen. He got the first preseason start. So, like, Rattler got a lot of advantages too. But, yeah, I mean, neither one is being handed they're obviously the guy based on usage, I don't think.
They've been pretty even in the scrimmages, though, right? Like, it's like, because it ends up, they take the break, they do special teams, they come back, and then it'll be Shuck, and it'll be Shuck with the ones going against the 2s even sometimes, which is an advantage. He got the 2-minute drill. If you get to make your case in the preseason with Eric McCoy, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed.
I know. I mean, I think those guys should play this week. The offense needs to find some rhythm and chemistry, to your point about, like, looking sloppy this late into camp after you haven't had enough reps. And then, that's for either quarterback. But, I mean, shoot, they should probably play in both. They should probably
let me ask you this. Like, if the last impression is the most important impression and they're going to split up the advantages, isn't it actually more advantageous to have it at the end than the beginning?
Yeah. I mean, I think you'd want to go last, right? Like, if you're deciding, if you're guaranteed you're going to go first preseason game or second preseason game, I think you'd want to go second preseason game. If he takes advantage, if he has the better game, if he plays with the starters and he outperforms Rattler, then he takes the lead, I think. But, I mean, that's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of ifs. Every time we think we see something that feels conclusive, we see the opposite right after it. So.
Well, I don't know if that's conclusive, but I think it's just what it's been the whole. They drafted him with the other guy on the team. If they give him this opportunity, it's advantageous for him to make his case. If Rattler gets this, I think that signifies that there's a significant lean toward that for week 1. But yeah, I think no doubt about it. Like, Shuck is getting the advantages, and that's what it's always been, and that's how it's been handicapped since day one. Hey, this guy has to fight to keep something that's being taken from him. Whereas with Shuck, it's like, we want to give this to you, take it. And I think that would just be another thing within that. But yeah, I think it's interesting. If I were, I don't know if perception is reality, but if I were Rattler, like, that's how it played out. I'd okay, like, but let it put a chip on your shoulder. My guy, it's one of the things that I don't think is a bad thing either. If it puts a chip on your shoulder and it activates you to, use it as motivation. my guy Devin from the Red Beans and Rice, he was like saying something like they got to take the oar off Jake Haener. Like Jake Haener's a guy that battles and has a chip on his shoulder, and just like let this be another thing that motivates him. But like if you put the oar on there, you're taking out the motivational factor. I think sometimes putting up hurdles can be good for people and make them jump over it. Like, yeah, if I'm Rattler, I'm just taking it and it's fuel, man. Like if that's how it plays out, like okay, I got to show him and let it be the thing. I mean, he's had weeks to do it, but this would just be another thing. If you watch the other guy get all these guys and you're going in second, okay, you got to show him then. Like it's adversity has struck, and you're a man that's overcome adversity through all walks of your football career. There's another hurdle. Go get it. Let it be fuel. But like, yeah, I would probably feel like the deck was stacked against me a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, you made the point. You've said it a million times. Like they drafted Rattler's replacement. That's what they did. But I think they gave Rattler every opportunity to be like, guess what? You're not taking it. I mean, the first comparison that comes to my mind is Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers. Like they drafted Phillip Rivers to beat out Drew Brees, and Drew Brees is like, you're never getting this job. Like
that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But like there's a difference between you get every opportunity, and then when it comes to the games, if it's stacked against you and there's two comparisons, there's a reality where one guy had a better situation than the other. That doesn't mean you don't have an opportunity to win the race, but you might not have the horsepower that the other guy had. Right. Like
no question. And look, Rattler's start came without Eric McCoy and Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara. So it's hard to say. But I mean, like if we come out of the second preseason game and we say Shuck played better than Rattler in both, then that would also be a missed opportunity for Rattler to be undeniable. Rattler had to be undeniable. So if he wasn't undeniable in the first game, I don't think either of us think he was undeniable in the first game. He better be undeniable in this game. Otherwise, he's leaving it up to the coaches who may have been stacking the deck.
It'll be an interesting evaluation though. Like if they're out there, they put McCoy out there, they're running for 4.5, 5 per pop, and you're able to like throw off the run, and Eric McCoy's out there.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that drastically like affects the offense more than anybody. It'll be an interesting evaluation, but you had to be undeniable in your circumstance. And when they drafted him, like it was already like you weren't getting the same. Like the odds were already stacked against you. So it'll be interesting. Next topic is presented by the Louisiana Lottery. Do you think they need to make a call on this before the last preseason game?
They don't have to. I don't think they have to. But I think you start whoever you're leaning toward in the third preseason game, right? I mean, you don't maybe declare it, but it's an odd number. If I think you're leaning toward a guy, and I think he gets the reps in the third preseason game. Maybe have the starters out there for a series or two, and that's where he gets to cement it. I mean, I think you're strongly leaning by the third preseason game. It's not a must, but it'd be kind of a mess if it wasn't. It'd be kind of a mess if you showed you were leaning toward one guy and then you changed your mind. It just feels crazy to me that they could be 2 days away from making a final decision. So that's why I don't say must, but ideally, and even Kellen Morris put that out there a bunch of times, that he made it sound like they wanted to have a decision made by the end of the second preseason game.
The last part of it, though, too, is like, let's say they don't put them all out there in preseason 2. There's still rest day for McCoy, whoever, Rashid, Olave, Alvin, whatever it is. You kind of got to have like a dress rehearsal at some point, you think, like at least a series, which would have to come in the third game if they don't do it in this game. Which makes it incredibly interesting again, because like if you don't go to them in the third game, like you just make a call. Like I don't know. Like those guys have to play at some point, and I think at some point that you got to make a call. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to kind of see. We don't know what the drumbeat is on how they're going to use the preseason or whatever. But at some point they all have to play together, at least for one series. You got to see it. I don't know. It would be good if they made a call. They don't have to, though. They don't have to, but it would be, I don't know, like, man, like you're really going to go through like the last week of preseason without going to one of the quarterbacks, like the last week of training camp. I don't know. I don't know if I feel like they kind of need to, but they don't have to. Like it would be extremely advantageous if they could.
Yeah.
I don't know. Going to
it's crazy. I mean, it really is crazy. But I mean, I would say they won't announce it, but whoever's starting that third preseason game has like a 90% chance. Like it's like, please just cement this for us. That would be my guess.
Yeah. Last topic before the break, presented by Hard Hide Punch and Toll Strawberry Whiskey. Anything else you're looking for in the last preseason game? Or the next preseason game, which could be the last preseason game for the starters?
Yeah, look, I'm doing a story on the website with the bubble battles that I think are still up as I try to hone in my 53-man roster. And the funny thing is, I think you could make a case that the top 5 hardest position battles to decide are all on defense. Like, I've almost got my offense written in pen. I'm down to like the last spot between like Velus Jones and Devin Neal and Dante Pettis, depending on which one of those you want to keep. But I've kind of got my first 24 pretty solidified. On defense, I've got like 32 guys going for 25 spots. I think it's really interesting in every single position group. I think they have really fascinating decisions between day 3 rookie draft picks that they like a lot versus more proven veterans that they've been playing with the 1s and 2s a lot. I think linebacker got fascinating in the last. So, I mean, certainly, there's 2 things: choosing their starting quarterback and deciding who's going to be on this team. And those are the 2 things you're watching in this game for sure.
Yeah, DT is a huge one. The interior, I think, is a
I've
big
got 10
battle.
guys going for 6 spots there.
And like some name guys could go, and then bringing in like Vernon Broughton is a complicating factor because like I don't think that he's really ready to. Yeah. That'd be a good thing to see in this game is like some contribution there because there were a couple little moments throughout camp, couple little moments in the first game, but I don't know that I'm looking at him to play like meaningful snaps yet. So it would be good to kind of see something click there for him. That would help clean up some of the roster math too, because like it feels like you almost need to keep an extra guy there if he's developmental for a year.
Right.
Linebacker's tough. Like I don't know who I'm keeping after the top 3. Like you could go 3 different directions. Yeah, I mean they are tough. Like offense, it just kind of feels like who's filling it out, and defense is kind of like who are you leaving out. So I agree totally. Bunch of stuff there. Like I would like to see like a strong performance from the offensive line. I want to see the run game get going. Like those would be 2 things that would make me feel a little bit better about what we saw this last week and in the last preseason game. Obviously, the QB thing is number 1 on that list. Who's the 3rd receiver, 4th receiver? Like somebody like step up and take it. We saw Tipton make a big play, but I don't know. Like I would just like to see more from him if it is him. I would like to see Brandon Cooks maybe just flash a little bit somewhere.
I thought Cooks finally had, the old Parcells saying, I got to see it once in a while. I thought Cooks had a good California trip. I thought when Olave missed the practice, Cooks kind of was the go-to guy for both quarterbacks. He had at least the one nice catch in the game. Like I think that was his best stretch we had seen yet. But not like draft him on your fantasy team's good, but like, all right, there's something there. Dependable.
Yeah, big miss block in the game. Like I'd like to see him. I think that's a big wide receiver 3 thing in there. Like he got Kendra stuffed on one, so like just like I think some of those details, like the pass protection element. I think Clyde played really well in it. I thought Kendra played really well in it. Just seeing the continuation of like that to where one of these guys that you look at him, you're like, yes, 3rd down, that is the dude I want on the field. I kind of feel like Clyde's coming up, but then like Cam Akers has done it well, and he had a good practice out here against the Rams. Maybe some of that FU energy against them, but like I thought he was one of the guys that I left here feeling good about. Just kind of like some of those little detail things that I think will end up deciding like guy 25 on the team. Like that is probably like if Vela showed you he could block it all, like it'd be like yes, you're on the team. I don't know if he's going to do that though. But some of that stuff I think is paramount. And then the bubble battles, punter battle, which kind of feels like it's going away from Burnup a little bit, but we'll see.
Definitely in that game. Burnup needs to have a good game.
Yeah, he definitely does. And I think it's interesting that the other guy's been doing the holding for Groupie. So, we're going to have a quick break and we'll be back with the Get Gordon question of the day. Big news from the home team. Introducing our newest sponsor, the Mortgage Brothers. With over 30 years of combined experience, the Mortgage Brothers are the quarterbacks of home lending, calling the right plays to get you across the goal line. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned vet, they'll coach you through every down and make sure you feel like part of the team. They're backed by Cross Country Mortgage, the #1 retail lender in the nation. So there's no loan playbook they can't run. FHA, VA, conventional, RD, and more. They're lifelong season ticket holders. Local guys who know the field and your market. And their online application takes less than 10 minutes. Why fumble your mortgage with some online lender who's never even watched your team play? Stick with the Mortgage Brothers, the trusted pros who play to win. Mention NOF and get $500 back in lender credit toward your closing costs. That's money back in your pocket when it counts. Visit mortgagebros.money and start shopping with confidence. Because with Mortgage Brothers, it's always no flags, no fumbles, just smooth closings every single time.
Slide into summer with New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood's new sliders. Get 2 each of cheeseburger, buffalo chicken, meatball, or chicken and waffles served with a side of garlic herb fries. Starting at $9.99 now at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me, New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
You ever take a bite of something and immediately think, yeah, I'm coming back for this? Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant just added some new dishes, and man, they crushed it. The shrimp and crawfish pistolettes, golden and stuffed with bold Cajun flavor. Fried oyster tacos, crispy, fresh with the perfect kick. And the soft shell crab Alfredo, creamy, rich, and absolutely worth the order. They're open 7 days a week, and they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trusted team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. Welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. It is now time for the Get Gordon question of the day, presented by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. The question comes from Paul C. Excluding Alvin and McCoy, who among the team is the third most valuable player they can't lose?
Boy, there's a lot of candidates for this. I want to say Olave or Shaheed, but they play the same position. I want to say Alante or Kool-Aid, but they play the same position. I'm leaning toward Chase Young a little bit. I'm leaning toward DeMario a little bit. They're screwed without all of them. But can I say Kelvin Banks just because it'll suck all the wind in the air out of anyone watching this team this year? Because I think half the people are watching hoping for a miracle this year and half are hoping this team has a future. So I'll say Kelvin Banks.
Yeah, like I think him or Tali, like depending on your perspective of what the goal is for like now and the future. If you're looking at it like this is a rebuilding team and we're looking for incremental progress and I want to see, my favorite team build for the future and all that stuff, it's those two guys and any snap they aren't on the field is a snap they aren't developing for. And you are building the whole entire franchise around those two players. So very, very much at the top of the list. From an injury perspective, can't lose one of these guys, absolutely screwed, season's over type thing. Is it one of the receivers? Is it Shaheed or Olave?
Yeah, the drop-off is substantial, I think, beyond those guys. We had both of those guys in our top 5 players on the team list. So no, the drop-off is substantial at that position. I mean, Cooks could fill in for a week or two here, but yeah, those are the two take the wind out of the sails positions, I think. If you lose Olave or Shaheed or you lose Banks or Fuaga, you might be looking for something else to do on Sunday and say, let me know when the draft is coming up.
And it's probably Olave, right? Like just because we know that he can hit every route, that you got 2 young quarterbacks. You need the receivers to elevate them. You need one guy that's just going to be extremely detail oriented and extremely predictable and extremely reliable. And he's going to run the hitch the same way every time. And he's going to run the crosser the same way every time. I think at the high end, Shaheed is obviously like as explosive, maybe more explosive, maybe more big playability. But that's kind of been the thing with him. And I think that's the next level of like Chris Olave came into the league and people are like, man, this is one of the best route runners in the league today. And
he's supposed to be being talked about like his former Ohio State teammates, Terry McLaurin and Garrett Wilson right now. That's where he's supposed to be right now, if not even higher.
yeah, like he's like a teach tape type guy. Not taking anything away from Rashid, but I think like when you're talking about like the fall off and like what would probably hurt a young quarterback. Now, I think like in a different situation, like those two guys, like if it's Drew, like those two guys are probably like neck and neck on the list. I think Chris separates a little given the specifics of this situation. Is there anybody else? I think if Chase Young went down, like man, like that's a big one. Him or Grando, like it's another slash one. Put Chase first. Those are the two spots where I'm like, oh man, like I don't know.
Godshaw's becoming that kind of guy for me very quickly. I think the drop off between Godshaw and everyone else playing nose tackle is significant.
Yeah, he's significant too. Yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you what. It's like 20 of their starters. Like they're screwed without all of them.
I mean, McCoy obviously center is
he
like
was
that.
He's
other than McCoy. Yeah. Not taking anything away from anybody, like linebacker is one where I kind of feel like they have a little bit of depth. And again, safety is one where I feel like they have at least like a couple guys that are similar. It isn't like you're going from Chris Olave to a guy that probably wouldn't make another team. Like I think the Saints got a few guys at those positions that would make other teams.
Alante hit me hard this week. Like
he did.
Like the thought of Alante not being on that defense versus being on the like. I think when Kevin and I did our post-game pod, like I think we had secondary as like the position we were most up on. And as soon as you take Alante out of the equation, like I'm immediately down on the secondary. Like
no doubt.
He's so important to feeling good about the secondary.
No doubt about it. The only reason he's not like getting mentioned at the top of that conversation for me is that I feel like Ugo is a guy that if you put him in any other camp, people would be like, oh, I kind of like that guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? They have like and like it's a difference, obviously, and he's somebody that is like at the bottom of that 53 equation. And he can be replaced at any time. But I don't know that you look at that and you're like, oh man, they are so screwed. They got to play Ugo for a snap. You know what I mean? Like he can hold it down for a little bit, but obviously different, obviously less dynamic. Obviously he's a strong candidate on that, and especially I think within the parameters of this defense and what they want to try to accomplish. Like I think he's a difference maker for Staley. I'll tell you what, like I'm excited to see Staley once the regular season comes together. Yeah. Like he might be a guy that I feel like, I'm trending like positive in my feeling toward what we're seeing with the defense. And again, it's against the Saints, it's against Jimmy Garoppolo, it's against, you got to see some different things, but I think I'm encouraged by some of the way some of those things are trending, and I think he's obviously a very intelligent person. There's stripes that he has to show, or different stripes. I think coming off his last tenure, but I like some of the stuff they're doing over there.
This has nothing to do with the question anymore, but he's an interesting topic, and I think this was the first topic of our show, like overview after California. Feeling pretty. I'm intrigued by this defense very much, but the week one matchup is against Jonathan Gannon. I had a really good conversation with Staley a couple weeks ago, and he's so enthusiastic about his scheme and all his ideas. And him and Jonathan Gannon are like best friends who came up like learning the game of chess together. And he seems like he cannot wait to go up against Jonathan Gannon and for Kellen to go against Gannon too. So that's going to be a Brandon Staley in his bag game. I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. Both the coaches, like I think that's going to be the big interesting thing, the unveiling. And I like a lot of the stuff Kellen was doing. They started getting more creative in this last practice. We're not supposed to talk about like trick plays, scheme stuff. We've seen a few of those though that I think were kind of like, oh, okay, like that's interesting. So yeah, let's see what the football nerds can do, man. It's going to be exciting to see. Getting closer. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. We're going to have the live stream after the game on Sunday. Make sure or during the game on Sunday. Make sure you're watching that. All your coverage after the show, all that stuff, NewOrleans.Football. NOF 20% off your first payment for new customers. We'll talk to you next time.